Well, there are two big political court cases happening today. Judgment is expected in Jacob Zuma's application to stay his arrest, even though he's already in prison. And a ruling is also set to be handed down today in Ace Magashule's bid to be reinstated in the ANC. These cases will no doubt have greater political implications. Well, to discuss this further, we're joined by political analyst Dr. Ntsikelelo Breakfast. Ntsikelelo, thank you so much. Let's start with Ace Magashule. He's fighting to be reinstated into the ANC, his suspension. Whatever happens, this ruling will have implications for him and all those others who've been accused of misdemeanors, if you like, by the disciplinary committee.
Well, I think today's ruling is very important, and it can go either way, because there is a gray area between the step-aside principle and also one of the constitutional provisions, namely the fact that you are presumed innocent until you are found guilty. So I think what might happen is that if it goes his way, he will bounce back and also try to do damage control on behalf of his faction. I mean, you know as well as I do that most of the conferences of the ANC are won through that office of the SG. So that office is extremely important in the build-up to the conference of the ANC next year. On the other hand, if he loses, then it might be the end of the road for him, because then he will not be able to bounce back.
Ntsikelelo, just going to the Zuma case now, there seems to have been some kind of protests in Umlazi, Mpangeni, other parts of Durban against his incarceration. Is this really just provincially isolated, or is there going to be bigger pushback within the party nationally?
Well, I'm not taken aback by that. I saw it coming, because some people might be having a broken hearts. So I think it's still early days. Maybe in a week or two, people might have cooled off. But I mean, I expected that. I think also maybe some people might not want to campaign, in particular in KZN, might not want to campaign on behalf of the ANC as well, because they are unhappy about the turn of events. But I think people outside the ANC might be over the moon because they might think that the state takes the issue of corruption seriously.
The ANC sent out a message shortly after Jacob Zuma's incarceration and before, saying they still love Jacob Zuma, they don't want to see him incarcerated, but the rule of law had to be upheld. Do you think there could be some kind of split in the party, and does Jacob Zuma still have political collateral?
Well, I think he still has a strong political capital, but I think the ANC also is stuck between the rock and the hard place, in the sense that on the one hand, the ANC is trying to embrace, the constitution, in particular a rule of law. On the other hand, they don't want to rub the supporters of Jacob Zuma in a wrong way, because that might escalate the magnitude of the conflict and also feed into the tensions within the ANC. So they are trying to be careful how they articulate their views as an organization.
Ntsikelelo, quickly, last question. We did contact the presidency shortly after Jacob Zuma was incarcerated and asked them for comment, and they were very much of the view that it was not appropriate for them to say anything about what had happened. Do you think that President Ramaphosa should have stepped in and said anything in the run-up to this very tense time ahead of when Jacob Zuma handed himself over quietly?
I don't think that he should have done that. I think that would have escalated the tensions, because some people, they see this as a war between Ramaphosa and Msholozi. I hold a different view. I think, if Msholozi had issues with regard to how he was treated, he could have laid a complaint with the Judicial Service Commission. I think Msholozi was given a golden opportunity to explain himself, to present his side of the story, and he blew that opportunity. So it's not about Msholozi and the president.
Well, thank you so much. Ntsikelelo Breakfast, political analyst, throwing ahead to court cases today that will really set the way forward for the party and for the country.